Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the next episode of Stream Time Sports. My name is Chris Stone, the community lead, joined as always by our CEO. And today we also have a special guest, our friend, back for a second round on the show, Mr. David Guinan. David, it's a special episode, as anyone can see now that it is a show, no longer just simply a podcast. We're at the London Stadium, home of the West Ham Irons, my football club. It's been a tough year of sports for me between West Ham and the Cincinnati Bengals, but we're here at Sports Pro AI 25. So, David, it is a pleasure to have you back. We've not seen you in a while, and good to have you back on the show.
Go Eagles, go Phillies. I'm sorry. No, thank you so much for having me. It really is a honor to be back, and slightly terrifying to be on camera.
It's always nice when you can hide behind my webcam that I normally have at home recording these things. Instead, now I've got the backdrop of a, 60,000 odd stadium behind us. But weirdly, I've never been here for a sporting event. I've only been here for a music one.
I'm usually here about 8 times a year for football games. Usually more often than not negative than positive, but the negatives make the positive more sweet. You know what they say, you can't appreciate the sun without a little bit of rain. So, yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Like, we're on the same venue that Usain Bolt won gold in the 100-meter. Mo Farah won gold. I mean, you think about some of the athletes that have been out here, and then there's us.
And then there's us, yeah. The concert I was here for was AC/DC, great Australian band.
I'm so happy it wasn't Coldplay.
And weirdly, we had a staff day here a few months back, and they had Black Sabbath here. So they're proper hard rockers out here in East London.
Respect.
Yeah, apparently they're actually Black Sabbath is actually from East London. That's why they're the legacy, which I had no idea until I found out that there was the average age of fans in the audience is probably about 75, but they're rocking out hard.
God, we could devote 15 minutes talking about Ozzy. I mean, rest in peace.
Already. Yeah. Well, today, David, one of the things that we want to talk to you about, and I will go ahead and plug a former show that we did together. We talked about your time at the Cowboy Channel. It's an excellent story. You know, I love the story about kind of how when the system goes down and you guys personally just had every single person individually reach out to every single subscriber. I think it's just a great example of when things do go wrong, how can you adjust for that? And you've actually got a bit of a life update. It's no longer about the Cowboy Channel. We're going to jump into some of the stuff that you are doing now, but maybe just give a quick update sort of where we've left off with the Cowboy Channel and where we're at now with you.
And I'm happy to, and thank you. Yeah. Cowboy Channel was a really interesting ride in that...
I like that use,
metaphors. Love it.
It was more than an 8-second ride. But, I mean, to be completely blunt, I mean, I had no idea what I was doing. I mean, I knew from a product side what I wanted it to be. So it went very top down. Like, how do we take this vision and reduce it into something that works the way it's supposed to? And during my tenure there, I learned that every level of success is met with a different level of pain. Genuinely. Like, I mean, 5,000 subscribers to 30 are 2 different stratas of pain. Then when you get to 100, it's more pain. And then 150, more. So I don't know what's after that, but I do know it's there. I mean, we dealt with things right before the sale to Teton Ridge that is now has my baby and is treating it very, very nicely. I'm very happy with what they've been doing. We were hit with like a VPPA lawsuit, which I knew nothing about, where some judge sued Blockbuster for releasing his video VHS or DVD rental history, and now lawyers go after you for sharing your user data with Facebook and Google. That was fun, and basically they're 2 different law firms that are in cahoots to get your cyber insurance. So you learn that at around 125,000 subscribers. So I just can't wait to see what happens at 200 because I'm sure it's going to put another smile on my face.
Well, that's kind of what we're here to talk about today, David, because you've got a new challenge, a new task on your hands. You're a bit of a builder. You know, some people, they like to jump on the train when it's already left the station. It's already got momentum. Not you. You like to build things from scratch. You're a visionary, someone that likes to take things, a piece of clay and, model it into something. And
the metaphors are flying around here.
See, I think more of a monkey being given an assortment of blocks and fruit and, has to kind of bang them together and figure out what to do would be a more apt description. But appreciate it.
I try. I do have a great deal of respect for you.
So thank you.
But you do have a new task in hand. You joined, and you're going to try to build another platform.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that, because then after that, what Nick and I are going to grill you on for the majority of this is how you actually go about the thought process of going from absolutely nothing to building it. So before we really dive into, just tell us a little bit about the new project and what you're kicking off.
Appreciate it. So we just launched Table Tennis TV. And after Cowboy, I was put in touch by my friends at JW Player with a guy named Flint Lane, who's a really interesting character. He sold a company called Billtrust, which automated invoicing, and retired for 2 weeks and was bored out of his mind, like losing it. And he'd always played table tennis, like competitively, but semi, like for real. And he spun up a new league within 6 months called Major League Table Tennis. And we're going into our 3rd year right now. And we had a meeting, and I thought I was good at table tennis. I called it ping pong, like most Americans. I learned I was not good after going to one of the events where a former Olympian beat me 1-11 or 11-1.
Surprised you scored one.
I did, and I gloated. And I said, "Were you really in the Olympics? Are you really that good?" And he looked at me kind of quizzically and then pointed out he was using a bottle opener to play me. And at the end, I was covered in sweat and humiliated and just looked at him and just went, "Sorry." But my point is, after going to the event, I think for a sport to be good, it needs to do 3 things really properly. It has to be good live, it has to be good on your phone, and it has to be good on your couch. And the reason for that is, lean back, like short clips, and then the live experience that we all, places like this. And I didn't know what table tennis would be like live, so I went to one of their events, and it was great. I mean, you don't see the spin properly on television. I also called my friend and colleague Charlie Beal and asked him what he thought of the opportunity, and he was just like, "Dude, yeah," because the perception of table tennis in America is much, much different than it is here in Europe and Asia. Sweden, I mean, really, it's a varsity sport. I mean, they're genuine stars, and the idea of kind of building something from the ground up appealed to me for 2 reasons. One sort of silly, but the self-doubting part of myself says if I could do this with Cowboy, it was a fluke, or if I could do this again, I could wear a bathrobe for the rest of my life. But really, the commonality of what I'm realizing, everything I've always liked to do is connect the audience with content that they haven't really been able to receive. I mean, I did that in Nigeria. I did that at Cowboy Channel. There really is just a real pleasure in taking something that I might not be into, but that I have a great deal of respect for, and the audience, and just giving them what they deserve. And that's not frequently done. And I noticed that a lot of table tennis content was just put up for free on YouTube. And I thought there would be a great deal of efficiency to really give it the tier 1 treatment that we did with Rodeo. The second challenge is also out of ego, is how do I take a participatory sport that everybody knows how to play in America and turn that into a spectator sport? And I don't know the answer to that one yet. I think it starts with teaching people the rules and an appreciation for it. But that's my own personal challenge. But yeah, I'm just excited to build stuff.
So what exactly was the brief you were given? Was the brief just we need to build a platform so we've got something to point people to? Because you talked about the fact there was already some content being made available on YouTube. Was it the monetization piece that was the priority? What was the brief?
All of it. I mean, they were putting it on YouTube, but they were growing the league. But they thought there was an opportunity to really. We talked about the efficiency of created for the audience. That it is a fragmented audience, and that to me is just my favorite thing to do. When you have people having to go to YouTube, going to other individual league sites to find all of this, the content they want. They can't do things like follow an athlete, follow a player, and have it in their phone, have it really in one place. So, I mean, rodeo is very similar, where people would go to a county fair with a rodeo every year, but then they go to the NFR. But they would only typically go to their rodeo or one nearby. When we consolidated the rights, it allowed people to follow the sport in a completely new way. And rodeo, it follows a circuit, but the athletes can jump around. They do that all the time. And table tennis is very similar. Certain athletes will be in various competitions all over the world. They bounce from league to league and from tournament to tournament, and it deserves the same respect. It's also the 7th largest played sport in the world, which I had no idea. And seeing it live, seeing some of the stars, I mean, it is like watching sci-fi. I mean, it is. It's faster than you think. It's cooler than I thought. Excuse me. It's legit. And sorry.
So I'm curious on the dynamics here. So from what I understand of table tennis, I don't know a lot about the business side of the industry or the governance of it. But there's World Table Tennis. They exist out of Singapore. They have their own series of events they run.
Yep. Where
do you guys then fit into that ecosystem? Is it completely independent? Is it based in the US only from the events that you're running? And what's that landscape look like?
So Major League Table Tennis is its own league. And their model really is the NBA, which I love. I love the ambition, and I love that that's their model. I mean, really, in terms of making the stars athletes, giving them they use 12 cameras, slow-mo. I mean, it is one table. They've actually altered some of the rules so they make more sense, open serve doubles, which used to be, I'm going to butcher it, so I'm not even going to explain the rules. But they've changed some of the formats. But Table Tennis TV is one of the various leagues. Major League Table Tennis is one of the leagues on Table Tennis TV. So we have a deal with, Andreas of Dine, who was gracious enough to work with us to give us North American rights for the German Bundesliga, where, the number one player, Fan Zhendong, is playing. In turn, we're broadcasting on Dine, which is a very just cool relationship. But we're also in negotiations to bring on more and more international leagues. So this will be the main repository, the main destination if you care about table tennis. And part of the strategy is not just live sport, but influencer content. We created a show called Table Tennis Tonight, where it is SportsCenter, but 8 minutes, 9 minutes, however long we want it to be, which is what's wonderful about streaming. I am not beholden to a linear timeline. I can dig on fast channels right now a little bit.
Yeah, you can dig on a little bit.
No, but when you're not locked on a linear timeline, you can, I've been in TV for a while. Sometimes you end up having to fill empty space. It's Worlds on Water skis at the end. That's the joke. They do that. Ours is, if there's 8 minutes of stories, there's 8 minutes of stories. If there's 12, there's 12. We can release whenever. And it's so freeing to be able to do that. But the goal is to give the users something, to give the people what they want or what they didn't even know they wanted, which is a very, very easy way with 5 to 8 minutes to learn everything that happened in the world of table tennis across the world, including WTT, including all the leagues.
Let me just shamelessly plug and ask a question. It is a pointed question.
Sure.
Where did you meet Andreas Hayden?
Here.
There you go, people.
Coincidence.
There you go, people. Happy coincidence.
As a quick aside, at the Sports Pro Awards in Madrid last year, I was the first person presenting. And it was it was a true pleasure to present somebody I think he won Innovator of the Year, Most Innovative Platform, someone I voted for who deserved it. And I was the first person to hand out the award. No one told me that I was supposed to hand it and then walk off the stage. So it was me and 4 6'6" German dudes where I looked like Slimer from Ghostbusters, and it ended up on the front page of a German newspaper. So yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah, next time,
we'll give you a bit of a better brief next time.
I appreciate it.
Like I said, it's more just to let people know, you never know what kind of relationships you might make at a Sports Pro event. So like I said, just a slight segue, just to, shamelessly plug, the company, Nick.
I mean, seriously, some of my, this is real. I mean, not that the rest wasn't real, but there's a fun part of one's career when colleagues, vendors, people that you've worked with, people you've fired, become friends. And you guys have facilitated that. Like, I mean, I have friends from, Kling, from Aceto, from JW, Magnus, people that I've met at these events that have transcended just, someone you see at a conference, like real friendships, like real, exchanges of information, like that have been profound in shaping some of my preconceived notions that have challenged sort of the orthodoxy that I've held, and also have been fun to just bounce ideas off of to really move this industry forward, which I think it truly needs.
Yeah, I think that's one of the difficult things when I talk to people about the sports industry is just how important the relationships are. And people think it's a bit cliche, but I've talked to people from other sectors and they say it's much more cutthroat, it's much more transactional. But in sports, you need those relationships, whether it to be for the conversations you can have casually between people or those meetings you can have at an event. And they normally can go somewhere over time, whether it's immediately or down the line. You never know when you'll be able to open up those opportunities to something more. Example, with your relationship with Diane. Yeah. So it is really important that, that's why we do what we do, really.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess just moving on and talking about those relationships, those partnerships, as Nick said, what was the brief? What came in it? So now you've got on the brief, you've got on the job.
I mean, you guys have hosted me for vendor dinners and I've hired the vendors. I mean, it works. It really does. I mean, shameless plug, but it's real. I mean, it really is. It's it's why I come here. And yeah, I'm be a sports pro fanboy. So no, I genuinely thank you all for the opportunity.
Well, thank you. So let's get into it. So you've now give us an update. So you've launched a platform. So let's take back a couple of steps. You got the brief. What was the next step you had to take once you were on board to build this platform?
So I worked out an arrangement with Flint about the timeline and the budget, and I was immediately laughed at because they wanted it done in a much shorter period of time, which I loved. I think I said, well, this is, it's not easy, it's hard. And the response was, well, going to the moon is hard. This is not hard. And I genuinely loved it. And he was like, I built the entire league in, 6 months time. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. And I genuinely loved the challenge. And I liked the sort of no nonsense approach, but also the lack of perfectionism as a flaw, where if we get to 80%, that's quite good. Don't let perfect be the enemy of the good. So immediately you have to pick vendors. And I looked at a lot of them. I mean, I just looked at them all, which is it's a process that can go on forever. I mean, it really can. And you can get paralyzed by it. And so I ended up going with JW Player, who, cut me a fairly decent deal that they're probably going to regret soon. Their partners, Tring, which do front-end apps, and we created a bespoke mobile app, very similar to the Cowboy Channel playbook, where we spun up a website for news and integrated that with the mobile app because 80-90% of people's content is created is viewed on a mobile phone and created on mobile phone right there. So that to me is the primary destination. People make mistakes, in my opinion, when they're building by prioritizing things they shouldn't.
Such as?
CTV. I mean, the experience, I'm sorry, is just get it to work. All the bells and whistles, in my opinion, are not that great and not that important. I mean, it's if you have a ton of money, if you have a ton of budget, then it becomes very important. But if you're just starting out, and we built this thing for $150K, we're hemorrhaging money until we get to, a couple thousand subscribers. So the first thing I had to think about was, how do I do this right, incorporating all the mistakes, which you all know are many, to build the tech stack. And we used JW, we used Tring, and I went back to Kling. Which I fired it when I was for year one of Cowboy Channel, and so far so good. I'm pleased with the choices.
So how long was the runway then between that and actually going live? Because you only went live a couple of weeks ago, right?
Yeah. Well, I did the sensible thing by lying to all of your vendors and giving them a wrong date. Yeah, but
as everyone does well with their service providers, is give them a pre-date before the real date.
Well, but they knew the actual roadmap, but I did need a pre-date because there are always revisions and always things that go wrong. I have to say what I liked about the providers that we worked with is they were hounding me for more information and threatening me with not being able to reach my deadlines, which is the greatest position to be in. Like, I mean, I kind of always like being the dumbest person in the room, and I mean, it was great. Like, they were like, "You got to get this done," so it would force us to push. And we launched on September 3rd, and successfully. I still consider us beta right now, because even though there's always, once you launch, we still don't have an Android version. We're having issues with Roku because they won't validate our billing info, even though it's right there, and you get into this awful cycle. I mean, just little things that pop up, but we are streaming live content. We have live news, and we have a couple hundred followers, a couple hundred subscribers, actually like 300 or something so far. And this is not with spending a dime on marketing, even with that big of a promotional push, which I don't like to do until you're really at a point where the product is ready. And I would say it's there now.
We hope you're enjoying the show. I just want to give a quick shout out to one of our founding Streamtime community members, LucidLink. Distributed teams, massive files, zero time to waste. In live sports and broadcasting, if you're waiting on files to transfer, sync, or download, you're already losing the race. LucidLink's cloud-native file system gives your team real-time access to massive media files from anywhere. Say goodbye to syncing and downloading, and hello to instant collaboration, the tools you use every day, like Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve, and Media Composer. Whether you're cutting high-res match footage, color grading remotely, or managing production across different time zones, LucidLink makes remote workflows feel like you're in the same room. From ESPN and McLaren Racing to Warner Brothers and Paramount, production teams trust LucidLink to create without the wait. Try LucidLink free today at lucidlink.com and make remote collaboration feel local.
And so you mentioned Roku as the challenge with that. Are there any, what is that mix of devices you're available on now?
Oh, glad you asked that. I had to be very selective because of budget. Again, when you're starting with zero, a very good way of thinking is, we were talking about the term minimum viable product, which I don't like. To me, that means it's bad. For me, I like minimum viable good product, like that's actually something people would buy. Proof of concept, I think, should be interchanged with minimum viable product, but we did a minimum viable good product. And we did it for Roku because it's the number one CTV app player in the what do you call it, platform in the U.S.
Operating system, OS,
dealer's choice. Then Apple TV, because even though it's a lower one in terms of popularity, my gut. And a bit of analysis, thank you, Mark Swick, for giving me some insight into the table tennis community for free, was that it's it's an older demographic, but with a much, much higher technical sophistication. And Apple tends to attract people with more tech savviness. A bespoke mobile app as well as web and Fire Stick. And I did... I want all of the, like, I'm cool with paying the Roku and Apple tax and all of that because, 30% for year one when my CAC is probably $75, I'll take that every day.
So how do you get up and running on those platforms? Is that through JW Player?
It's a living hell. I mean, my God. No, it's awful. It's always awful. I mean, you got to submit a DUNS number. You got Apple, you need a human that acts as a corporation, and they've gotten more awful about we have like app dev at Apple, but then you need to convince them that's a person. It needs to be tied to a real human. I mean, it's nuts. I mean, the process is awful. And then they've automated it where you can't reach anybody, so you get trapped in these loops. Like with Roku, we keep submitting, here is our information, the billing address, the name of it, and it just keeps like a ticket's created, and it's this, and it feels like some sort of hell. I mean, it's just like this loop of just...
Which of the 7 levels are we talking about?
I mean, maybe the 8th for OTT. I mean, it's just nuts. And then you get someone and they can't help you. And then we've identical tickets being created over and over again, but we'll get through it.
It reminds me of that story. I don't know if you remember it from a few years ago now, where there was a platform that was launched that was incorporated a lot of the major football players, the soccer athletes, the stars like Beckham, Zidane, Messi, and Neymar. It was called Ocho at the time. Yeah. And the story going around was basically they put tens and tens of millions into getting the licensing rights from the players and getting the platform ready. And they did this huge marketing push, but they didn't take into account getting the Apple sign off and how long that took. And basically they launched it without having the platform live on the product, on the platform, and basically led to a lot of wasted marketing after that. But and that platform didn't last very long, I can tell you.
That is why I'm not marketing yet.
I was just going to say, so okay, you're live now. You've talked about it being a subscription business. So two things is rough price point that you're selling at, and what do you get for that price point? Let's start with that one.
Sure. May I speak on something before that?
Yeah, go for it.
So back to hemorrhaging money. You literally are bleeding, and so the idea of going to any kind of boutique place is out of the question. I looked at even Stream AMG, Stay Live, which I liked. I mean, really, Stay Live was good, like a really good product.
Based out of Sweden, right? Yeah. Actually in Stockholm.
Yeah, I mean, they started as a high school project.
Part of the Spring Media Group that was acquired by Two Circles. That's their Swedish office.
Yeah, I mean, incredible, but they didn't have CTV or Roku abilities. So for an American audience, I wanted to go with them. But man, that's a good product. But I went with what I had. So I pay JW about $30 per terabyte to stream, and my calculations show me that if I had 1,000 users, that would last me 13 days. So there are two companies, System 73 and a company called Digital Harmonic that I met randomly at a bar in Las Vegas and at NAB that I just didn't believe what they did. And it's a military compression, well, not even compression, kind of AI shader that was used in high altitude surveillance airplanes that takes a 20 megabit feed, reduces it to 10, and also enhances the quality. I didn't believe it. And I met them, and I looked at it, and it was legit. It's real. And so I have our feeds going through them into JW, which saves me half on the ingest. And then System 73 allows me to put a peer-to-peer layer. I have to be scrappy in order to save money, but I'm basically saving about 80 to 90% off my CDN bill by incorporating both of these technologies. And I call it the sandwich of savings. It really is. It's on one side or the other, and they're great.
Is that something that what you've achieved there, and by taking that approach, is that something? Have you checked with others? Your contacts. Is that something that others are doing as well, or do you think it sounds like quite innovative to me?
I don't think they are, because I brought it up to other people, and they're either too senior, which is fine, meaning their products are more mature, that it's not in their roadmap. Or it's just they're occupied. I mean, it's interesting when I'm in the position of recommending technology to people, it's either oh, that's cool, but, whether they use it or not, I mean, I would, especially if you're starting out, because it's I'm saving, a ridiculous amount of money on traffic and analytics. So, but the point is you got to be scrappy. I mean, you have to really just, one of the things that we did really, really cleverly at Cowboy is we grew with revenue. I mean, always. We did not. I mean, I had a staff of 9 or maybe 10 when I left, whereas the broadcast had, I think, 90 to over 100. We were tiny, and it's best to stay that way. Otherwise, you can, in a weird way, make poor decisions. So, God, I'm just realizing right now that a lot of the pain points were self-inflicted, because you'd run into a pain point, which was a revenue issue usually, and then you'd expand.
That's normally the thing we hear constantly is people are so focused on revenue, but actually if you can just keep your costs down and get up and running and get momentum with that, that's when you can see the results paying off and show that growth path. Whereas normally revenue's the focus, happy to take losses, and they work out at the end they can't overcome that mismatch in dynamic a couple of years later, it's too late by then.
Or it's magical thinking that they haven't thought about really, should we build before building? I see that a lot. People make the assumption that what they're building is special in their own mind, and it really is a bit of magical thinking, and they never break 30,000 and die.
I say that comes to the point Nick and I always refer to back to the great movie Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. I think there's always this misconception that if we build it, like, they're just going to come filing through to love this product as much as we do.
One of the things that I really have learned is that the key question of should I build it should be the number one thing, and then talk to people. And one of the things that Flit and I kind of vibe on is he turned me on to this book called Thinking in Bets, and it's by a former poker player. And just because, if something's a 75% chance, there's a 25% chance you could lose. And a lot of people make decisions based on the loss and think it was a bad decision. So when you think in terms of probability, if you reduce everything to a bet, one that we're making is that by creating efficiencies in this sport, by putting it all in one place, that will create an audience. And so far, it's a bet I'm willing to take. How you grow the audience depends on having a genuine respect for them and thinking not platform up, but product down, really almost envisioning what it looks like without the arrogance of knowing what they want, and being flexible with the feedback you get, and really listening to what problems they have and what features they want, and then putting those in a hierarchy of risk reward and what can you do quickly that can make the most revenue versus what's something you really, really want to do, but might be just a bell or a whistle.
So now you've got this platform up and running, and that's a place you can point to. What is the wider...
Tabletennis.tv.
Tabletennis.tv. Maybe you can reach out to David. He might give you a special offer on subscription. No pressure.
I shall. Can we actually flash one on the...
I'm sure we can work out something. A lot of code later on. Yeah, that is on the case.
Yeah, he's giving us a thumbs up.
He's giving us the green light there. What, like, layering it up a bit, like thinking about what we've done with the Media Summit as well, to go bigger picture now, because when you're building a platform, it's only part of a wider content and media strategy. Mm-hmm. What does that wider approach look like? How does a platform fit into it? Is it all about the platform? Is YouTube part of that strategy? Is there a broadcast linear partners there that the organization's focused on? Just talk us through how that fits into the mold.
Sure. Well, YouTube's always part of it. I mean, you don't want to run from YouTube. YouTube's, in my opinion, one of the great free front. I treat YouTube the same way I treat fast channels. I think fast channels are actually an okay idea if it's an established one, to take some of your sub-premium content, maybe even sub-premium content, to teach people the rules, to grow fan avidity, to attract new people, and use that as a marketing funnel to your premium service. At the same time, you can use that also with a free game of the week, or like what MLB does, which we obviously steal. So YouTube, also influencer content, where we made a deal with Pong Maestros. They're based in Sweden, to get some of their back catalog and create new content for us, to really be instructional. If you can teach an American, like, there are basically 3 moves you can learn, you can just beat most of your friends. I have not learned them yet. So that part of teaching people the rules, whether it be through condensed games, clips, coaching content, is vital. Especially, this is where I'm having fun in a participatory sport. Like, I'm not going to get on a 2,000-pound bull.
I mean, I'd pick.
Yes. But people play table tennis. And another bet that I'm making is that if you teach people the rules, who the players are, show them the real kind of value of the sport, like how good it is, you can start reaching an audience that's outside of your core demographic, which is still huge. I'm just talking about really America. I mean, hell, Fan Zhendong is a global celebrity. In America, our job is to tell the stories of these athletes.
So with what's on the platform then, other than live games, are you adding that educational content to the platform as well, or are you just mainly focused on giving those rights opportunities to the Pong? Was it Pong Maestros?
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna look up after this. I started playing table tennis with my little son the other day, and he
Based in Sweden.
Yeah, based in Sweden. So I'll get him
great dude.
tuning into some of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination. We created original programming. So we have Table Tennis Tonight with a host named Ryan Willard. And I mentioned that earlier. It's a summary. It's a kind of a sports center. It's a fun, short show that we're giving to Dine and putting that out there so you can, for free, in front of our paywall, so you can actually learn about the sport. And we're also doing kind of a one-on-one interview show with some of the major stars called Around the Net that Flint is hosting. That's very, very good. One of my longtime editors that I've used, who knows nothing about table tennis, gave me the highest compliment about the show. Just said it was a good conversation on its own right, and he knew nothing about it and just loved it. So everything has to be thought through. Ultimately, how do I say this without saying I'm a sarcastic bastard, as you know, so I don't want to sound sanctimonious, but I will. It's so hard.
Build this up now.
I know it's so hard being from Philadelphia. No, you have to be generous, like to be truly generous of spirit, and think like, what do these people want? What do they need? And make it for them. It ain't about making it for me. I like baseball. It's thinking that if somebody is actually paying money for this product, like real money, that they deserve the value in that. It should be like it's sacred.
So what to that point?
Secret, but it's
No, it's important though. If you want to get someone to buy a subscription in this day and age, you have to make sure you're providing legit value. Otherwise, you're not going to move the needle enough to get them to
agree.
happen. So what other product, let's say, how are you productifying the platform further? For example, we talk about the NFL and adding those different alternate cuts, like the 40-minute games, the refs cam. Are you adding different layers of product, or is that coming on the roadmap to add alternative cast, different commentary, that sort of thing to the mix, or you already got that emotion?
I mean, I'm going to be dealing with potentially the Turkish, Serbian, Romanian, Polish, Japanese league, and I think there's a language for each of those. So the idea of real-time language translation would be probably one of the first things that we're going to have to approach.
I have to share on that example. I don't know if you heard it before. Did you hear the session they had earlier on stage with, I was Dave Gibbs, Peter Hutton, Louise Lawler, and Mahir from Live Like. And one of the examples they shared that Eurovision's been doing with boxing was they had automated translation into Hindi, and it was translating it, and they were really happy with everything. And then in the background in the venue, they were playing, the example she gave is they were playing John Lennon.
Imagine.
Yeah. And it was translating the song into Hindi in the background, which I have to go and find that footage. Is going to be incredible to watch.
That was fantastic. I heard that too. It was just like a cool moment. But yeah, I mean, if we're going to be international, we have to have alternative feeds, language translation, and more. But I do want to say that we have just started. So there are all the bells and whistles that I would love to have. Like, for example, replacing pool tables with table tennis tables in bars across America, where there's a feature saying, find me a game. And I can challenge people. And then I use Pixelot or Spideo, where I get a clip for my own little digital trophy case that lives on the app. I would love that. But where are my resources? My resources come from growing subscribers, but at the same time, I need to get subscribers something of value. And the bet I'm making is by bringing in more and more live content, but also creating produced content that we're doing in-house, and also leveraging the influencer community to take and reformat a lot of their back catalog. We can start creating our own ersatz linear feed. One of the issues, though, I do have is at Cowboy, you have Westerns. There's all sorts of shoulder programming that fits. Table tennis, I mean, there's Balls of Fury, which phenomenal movie.
Yeah.
My God, I mean, Christopher Walken. I mean, it's But the shoulder programming and related content is not as bountiful. So that is a challenge. At the same time, we're doing things like Serve of the Week, where it's instructional, it's fun, and then pieces on like the history of table tennis. It was apparently Victorian and here. I didn't know that. I might be wrong. But every new feature that we add, it has to follow a growth cycle, or it's just not worth doing, or it has to be something that is demanded by the audience like now. So I mean, I'm trying to get push notifications working. So yeah, we're just started. I mean,
so we're gonna have to wrap things up, but I do have one last question for you, because I think one of the best things that came across in the interview when we were talking about the Cowboy Channel is what happens when all of a sudden those subscription numbers go through the roof. We're going to manifest our destiny. We know that table tennis TV is going to go through the roof. When it does happen, what have you learned from your experience, Cowboy Channel, when that scale does grow? What might you do differently this time to prepare for that inevitable moment when you jump to 10,000 subscribers and 50,000? What's the thing that you're going to take away to prepare?
I mean, do you see the panic on my face right now? Because like I'm realizing everything that will happen, and I'm about to repeat all of my mistakes because I don't have a customer service department right now.
Yeah,
I don't.
Have you put your number on speed dial again like last time?
I actually will give people my phone number right now, but I mean, we're using Kling's customer support, and we made that determination earlier on because it's again, it's a higher. They're not as technically mature as a lot of the older folks in rodeo are. Which was my problem to solve. I mean, really, when a woman calls and says, I can't install the app on her flip phone, I mean, it might be funny, but it really is. That's my problem. Yeah. It's like I should be teaching her through the marketing process. But I mean, I hope so. I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit of a repeating history, but we are better prepared for any kind of thundering herd event. I mean, that's the sort of the major thing we are prepared for. But you have given me a wake-up call about redundancy and disaster planning, which, to be fair, I've been so focused on build that I need to.
For what it's worth, I sometimes refer to those as champagne problems. It's a good problem,
man. Yeah, I mean, like I those dreams before events where all of your teeth fall out are not pleasant.
Yeah,
it was fun. I was telling my wife right before we launched, I was incredibly stressed, like really stressed. Like, I mean, it was affecting me. I mean, I was having those dreams. And then I thought, how cool is this? I am like so stressed out about ping pong. And I don't mean that to sound dismissive at all. I just thought it was awesome that like this, like, I was. I mean, and I will always be. I mean, it's like, you got to connect to an audience. You got to give them what they need.
Well, David, it is always a pleasure to get to see you. I often get to get a WhatsApp call from you about once a month, but get to see you in person. It's always a privilege. It's great to hear about the new adventure. No doubt it'll be something we'll continue to follow on our end. Lots you've learned from the Cowboy Channel, and it sounds like you're going through the process. It was really super interesting for us, hopefully interesting for the audience, because for every NFL, there's 50 other organizations that don't have that sort of budget or ability to do things. So to be able to hear firsthand from you, and you've always been super candid, which is something we appreciate. Some people are very clean and PR-ified. Being able to get the nuts and bolts isn't something we get from everybody. So I do appreciate that.
You got to share knowledge. I mean, we're all in this together. I mean, it's hard.
And that's how the industry moves forward much quicker, when we share and share alike. So thanks again, David, for joining us.
David, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Always. Thank you, everybody. Catch you on the next episode of Stream Time Sports.